What made you sit in your truck outside the church instead of walking your daughter down the aisle? Nora was 4 when her mother left a note on the kitchen counter that said, "I need to find myself." She took the good suitcase and the joint savings and left behind a child who stood at the front window for 3 straight days waiting for her car to come back. I was 26, working nights at a printing plant. Suddenly, a single father with no instructions for any of it. I learned to braid hair from YouTube videos at 2 a.m. between shifts. Burned through 6 attempts at French braids before Nora patted my hand and said, "It's okay, Daddy, a ponytail works." But I kept practicing until I got it right, because quitting wasn't something I could teach her by doing it. For 22 years, it was us. I worked doubles so she could take dance lessons. Drove 40 minutes each way to the better school district until I could afford to move us there. Sat through 14 recitals in folding chairs that wrecked my back, recording everyone on phones I couldn't afford. When Vanderbilt said yes, I refinanced the house and wrote a check for $48,000 that first semester. Told her the only repayment I'd ever accept was a phone call every Sunday. She never missed one. When she called about the engagement, she was laughing so hard she couldn't form sentences. She said, "Dad, start practicing your speech because you're going to cry," and I need it on video. I started writing it that same night. 14 drafts over 5 months because nothing felt big enough. Then Shelby came back. Her mother surfaced 4 months before the wedding with a handwritten letter full of therapist vocabulary. Healed now. Done the work. Wanted to be present for this moment. Nora showed me the letter with careful eyes and asked what I thought. I told her it was her decision, and I'd support whatever she chose. One lunch became weekly visits. Shelby's husband, Craig, started appearing at planning sessions with his checkbook open. The venue upgraded from a garden pavilion to a country club. The guest list swelled from 80 to 200. Flowers I'd already put deposits on were replaced with arrangements that cost more than my truck. Every upgrade carried Shelby's taste and Craig's money, and slowly, the wedding I'd been saving for since Nora was 16 became something I couldn't recognize. I stayed quiet because the joy on her face when she showed me new table settings was real. The rehearsal dinner shattered everything. Shelby gave a toast about the daughter she'd loved from afar. The regret that made her better. Second chances being life's greatest gift. Then, Nora stood, took Craig's hand, and announced he would walk her down the aisle. Her mother had missed 22 years and deserved to watch her husband give Nora away. She called it a healing moment for their whole family. She never once looked at me while she said it. 200 people watched me sit there. The speech I'd rewritten 14 times sat folded in my jacket pocket. I set my napkin on the table and walked out through the kitchen entrance. Nobody followed. Nobody texted that night. At home, I stared at the savings envelope in my desk drawer. $34,000 cash accumulated over 6 years of skipped vacations and a truck held together at 190,000 miles. I locked it back in the safe. Dropped all 14 drafts of the speech into the kitchen trash. Nora called the next morning. Not apologetic, explanatory. She said I was making this about me. That Craig walking her down the aisle didn't erase 22 years. I asked her one question. Who learned to braid your hair at 2 a.m.? Who sat outside the ER for 6 hours when you broke your collarbone at 9? Who refinanced his house so you could attend Vanderbilt? She went quiet. Then she said, "Dad, please don't make me choose. You already chose." In front of 200 people. Wedding morning. I drove to the church and parked across the street. Sat there 40 minutes watching guests file in. My phone lit up at 11:15. Nora, hysterical. Craig had a scheduling conflict. Business trip he couldn't move. Nora was sobbing, begging me to come inside, swearing I was always her real choice, and Craig was just a gesture for her mom. I watched the last guests disappear through the front doors from 50 feet away, started my engine, and drove home. Her cousin walked her down the aisle. Craig posted a photo from his business trip that same evening. A golf course. The woman who abandoned Nora at 4 just let it happen again at 26. Only difference is, this time my daughter held the door open for her.